The coronavirus moved one of the nation's largest marches off the street.
I've been a part of that march for more than 50 years. So for me to say, we're not going to get out there and walk, I had a real heartburn with that, just like many other residents.
And into the realm of the virtual.
But at the same time, I understand that we can take advantage of the technology that we have.
On Monday, the massive crowd filled with energy for the cause, and the joy of reunion won't be there. Instead, the Dr. Martin Luther King March is now a story on the city's access channel and the internet.
We wanted to recreate something that you still feel like you're out there. And if you've never been there, then you get to see what it's all about.
We've gathered here today to celebrate the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
An historic film will capture the march experience through the lens of a camera.
Have you ever really looked around and see what's on the boulevard?
The film is a journey of motion and moments. UT film professor and San Antonio native Yaki Smith is the filmmaker.
This celebration is so huge. How do you take a celebration that, if you think about it, it's probably 6 hours long between the marching and then you get to Pittman Sullivan Park? How do you take that and encapsulate it into something that ends up being 92 minutes?
The storytelling assembles faces and accounts from every segment of the community.
I am a social justice filmmaker first. I'm an activist, and that is a part of my DNA. And so in everything that I do, I want to make sure that I am making those that have been deemed invisible, visible, and giving voice back to those whose voices have been silenced.
Case in point, the escalating cries for justice from families who have lost loved ones killed by police as they sit on Via's Rosa Parks bus.
And that bus is surrounded by activists who are charging, the city, the community, the people with really coming out and making sure that we create a much more inclusive and equitable landscape for everyone.
The immersive presentation is filled with strong messages from Dr. King.
We oftentimes sanitize Dr. King, right? It's always the I have a dream Dr. King. But there's also the Dr. King who said, we coming to get our check. There's also the Dr. King who said that silence is betrayal. And that's the Dr. King that you will hear from in this film.
Along barren corridors where people typically march for a dream.
So when you see this drone going across and then you see that empty boulevard, it ought to do something to say you want to do something if you have an opportunity to bring some economic development to the community as well.
Marvin Hurst, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.